Continuing here. So I wanted to finish off this story about this episode of Forensic Files. So this freaky perv murderer murders this little girl, rapes and murders a 9-year-old little girl that was looking for a father figure, apparently, because the mother was in. She was actually one of the main suspects in this show, and there was a couple other ones, but it turns out it's this guy that she's been going to see, and they didn't mention that she was looking for a father figure, but I mean, you put two and two together. There's no dad in the picture, and so this is what she's doing, and this is what this guy does. Now, while I openly admit that I'm not a proponent of capital punishment, that in no way suggests that I am opposed to what Moses did, for example. When he was livid, he was enraged at the slave driver who was beating his slave for no good reason, and he lost it. Okay, so in a moment of passion, okay, I don't even know if you'd call it temporary insanity, he destroyed the man. So I'm the kind of guy that if I stumbled upon this guy in the act, okay, because he did this act in some abandoned house nearby where he lived. So he lured the kid over there, and he did this thing. Now, if I walked in there with my bare hands, I probably would have killed the guy. Okay, just with one blow to the head. Look, I mean, it would have been the power of God, and I'm not at all ashamed to say that. Okay, I'm still a pacifist, but you understand that we have godly instincts to destroy. And so when you see the passion coming out of me about these economic issues, it's the same kind of thing I feel, because I know that these people are creating death and destruction in the land. They're destroying homes. These are home wreckers. Do you know how many divorces have to do with economic matters, financial matters? Look into it. Okay, so I know what the hell I'm talking about here. These are evil, evil people. Okay, and we've all caught them in the act. But so many people are on the fence about how they ought to feel about the bailout of '08, let bygones be bygones, and just get used to the higher cost of housing. And, well, they took a dive anyhow in '08 just because we made the criminals that caused the problems whole, and we let them get away with their crimes. Nobody went to jail. Okay, even though back in the '80s, during the home savings and loan scandal, plenty of people went to jail. I'm just saying, I am outraged that more people aren't outraged. I hate it so much. I hate the system so much. I don't hate a living being. That doesn't mean to say, like I said, look, I could kill a man with my bare hands. I could do what Moses did. Okay, in a situation like that, I mean, that wasn't even motivated by money. I don't see where money even came into the guy is just a psycho killer. Preying on little children. Do you understand? If you hurt a child, what you've done. They say we're made in the image and likeness of God. And if any one of us, of all the population on earth, it is the children that are most in the image and likeness of God, because they are the most pure and clean and innocent. Like Jesus said, he said, lest you be like one of these little children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. So we've got to have this pure heart like a child, to be childlike. So I'm not ashamed of being a pacifist, but on the same token, I will, with my bare hands, I would attack a man like that when I saw him doing that to a child. And I'm very happy to be that human being that God knows and humanity knows, that same human being. And it's not inconsistent. It might be a paradox. We have to wrap our minds around paradoxes. It's tough. We've got battles going on right within our own members. Yeah, and it's not supposed to be like that. It's like that because of the original sin, the fall of man, the knowledge of good and evil, and the subsequent curse that befell the earth. Because people, atheists out there, they say, your God is loving, and he's all powerful, and he's competent, and all this crap. Is that why it's 100 degrees today? Is that why mosquitoes can bite you and kill you? Oh, God is so competent. He's so loving. He's so powerful. All these natural disasters, killing people, 150,000 people dying, Indonesian tsunami, and Mother Nature, and God's a big a-hole. I am an atheist for a good reason. It doesn't make any sense. There is no God. If there was a loving God that's all powerful, why would he let these horrible things happen? You understand? So I'm offended personally by what's going on here in this world, and I hate it so much. And I'm so glad that God is a good God. We can all be, if you are a righteous, upright, decent human being that hungers and thirsts for righteousness to be the rule of law in the land, the rule of the day in the land, okay, then you can be very glad that God is a holy, W-H and H-O, holy, good God, okay? And we can trust in him, but only him, because like it's written in scripture, the heart is deceitfully wicked above all else, okay? It's just the nature of the beast. We're struggling with a paradox, that we've got this carnal nature, this worldly nature, this egoistic nature, this conceited nature, this narcissistic nature that just says, look, forget all that goody two-shoes crap. Just get over it. Get some common sense. Get logical, get the right paradigm, and be pragmatic, be practical, get out there, jump on the bandwagon, conform to the system, make a lot of money, be successful as secularly defined, which is to them logically, that's the common sense way, right? Just fit in, go with the flow, go along to get along, and you know what? And you can't worry about other people. They're on their own. I mean, it's social Darwinianism is the rule of the day, survival of the strongest, or in this case, survival of the shrewdest and the meanest out there, those that are most willing to abandon their conscience and not care about the welfare of their fellow human beings. Okay, that's who it is, and I am outraged. I am livid. I've had it up to here, folks. I'm telling you, I'm done. I'm over it. And, whether or not Trump succeeds in what he's trying to do, I don't know. I just don't know. But if he doesn't get control over the issuance of currency, then no, he's not going to succeed. We've got to, because anything good that he does to bring down the cost of living, okay, can be undone with the stroke of the next president's pen. Okay, so you've got to understand fundamentally what needs to happen here. We need sound economic policies that are going to lead to freedom. Not for some, not for a select privileged few, like this wealth and income disparity that we've keep seeing growing, but for everybody across the board. They've got to benefit everybody. Okay. And if they do, you're going to see lower crime, so your taxes are going to go down because there's no sense in, bringing in all this revenue, okay, if it's not necessary. You see, this is what people got to understand. You've got to understand these things. I mean, I don't know how much more clear I can be, because I kind of go over the same stuff over and over and over, but I feel it's necessary because it's my shtick. It's just what I've got to say that I'm not hearing on the Alex Jones show. I'm not hearing from his reporters. I'm not hearing from his guests. So I'm here as a supplement to tell you, look, I just want to be a good brother, and I'm going to get my reward, and I get my reward automatic. Just getting stuff off my chest is enough reward for doing these videos. So even if nobody decides to listen to me, I'm still getting things off my chest because I've got to tell you, look, I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to spell it out for you in black and white, and it's going to be, the ABCs, the nuts and bolts, the 2 plus 2s here. The facts, ma'am, just the facts. That's where I'm coming from here. And rudimentary, basic economic principles is what I get into, just so you can cut through the crap, and you don't need a Harvard degree. You can say, yes, I'm listening to a guy that read Adam Smith's book, probably the most famous economist in the world, his book, The Wealth of Nations. And he knows what the hell he's talking about here. He knows how supply and demand is supposed to work. Okay, he knows what's going on. And I should listen to him and be empowered with that information and go out and don't let anybody hide behind the veil of ignorance is bliss, the philosophy, the credo, and say, no, I'm sorry, but you're hurting people. Your ignorance is costing people their lives. It's costing death and destruction in the land and misery. And you can't do it anymore. Time's up. Okay, time is up for everybody not to understand these issues I'm talking about. It is always bad when your cost of living tax is increasing. My whole life, if you put it on a graph, you would see your cost of living tax going straight up. That's coin clipping. That's currency clipping, because your buying power, your purchasing power of your dollar, your currency, the prevailing currency, is being clipped. It's being debased. That's what it is. It's just like a scale attached at the hips. It's inevitable. It's just an automatic reflex. Cost of living tax goes up, the worth of your currency goes down. So in regard to any commodity you have to pay for in society, it's going to affect that, because everybody's trying to keep up. Hey, your cost of housing went up. Everybody says, yeah, well, that means I just got to get more for my services or my commodities. So it's all very simple. And I'd like to end it on a simple note. just so that you understand I do know what I'm talking about, and you need to embrace what I'm talking about and educate other people, your friends, your neighbors, your family, strangers. Don't let anybody escape. Don't let them say, well, this guy's trying to talk over my head, so I'm going to put a wall of defense up and not just, that you see their eyes glaze over. They don't want to talk about it because it gets too complex for them. Because they can't understand. Like Jesus said, you be as shrewd as serpents, but as innocent as doves. You understand? They don't want to do that. That hurts their head. They say, I don't want to think like an evildoer. I don't want to think that possibly I'm actually working for those evildoers for the same cause. I'm part of one of those special interest groups that forms this one big fat ass beast monopoly beast. I mean, it's horrible. But that, in fact, is the case. And I'm not condemning anybody. I'm just saying, be intellectually honest. Be truthful. Be somebody. On Judgment Day, which could be today if you don't have another breath and today a stray bullet hits you, or you get in a car accident, or your heart gives out, or any number of things could cause your demise today. But I don't want your blood on my hands or on my head, metaphorically speaking. And if you end up going to hell because you were living and you didn't know even who you were intellectually dishonest, you were lying to yourself, you were self-deceived because you bought the lie from a deceiver. Somebody that was deceived taught you. They didn't even know that they were deceived. Maybe they knew. You don't know. You don't have the wisdom and the wherewithal to decide that about others, and we should be glad. That's up to God. Okay, that's why we're not here to condemn anybody. We're just here to stand for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and don't let anybody get away with lying anymore. Being intellectually dishonest, that is evil. I mean, there's no better word. It is evil. They're evil people that rule the world now. The status quo, the establishment is taking you on a bad course. It's a path of destruction. It's a ship of fools careening to destruction, and we've all got to jump ship. The sooner the better, and start preparing your heart and mind for what is to come, because God's will is going to be established on earth. Okay, Jesus won the battle on the cross. He's got rightful authority over the affairs of humanity, and it will be actualized. It will be realized in due time, in God's time. Not on my timetable, your timetable, his timetable, her timetable, on the Father's timetable. And he's patient, he's restrained, he's long-suffering, because he's a good God. He's patient with people. He wants people to repent. He doesn't delight in the destruction of the wicked. And we all need to be like that too. I would take no delight in pounding that guy's face in that molested and murdered that little girl. I wouldn't delight in it. I would just do it. That's who I am. I'm God's kid. And when I see somebody that is that hellish, that demonic, that given over to evil, yes. Why should he cost us now $50,000 a year to be in prison? I mean, these thoughts might just be spinning through my head, but I'm going to do it just because of righteousness, because it's horrible what some people do. But remember, these people at the top, they're doing that on a metaphorical, allegorical level by destroying people's lives. Suicides go up. Homicides go up when they deliberately induce poverty in the land. They call it artificial austerity, imposing artificial. That's what they do. They do it on purpose. They say, well, yeah, we got to tighten our bootstraps, our purse strings, because, we're in debt. The nation is in debt, so we got to create austerity. So we take away the social programs that they created the need for. Do you understand? It's the market manipulation, the price rigging, these collusive special interest groups forming this big fat-ass beast monopoly that caused the problem, that caused the need for the social welfare system. And all these jobs, countless jobs, revolve around the problems. And now if we fix that one problem of desperate poverty, all these jobs are lost. So what kind of an idiot, I'm being sardonic, what kind of an idiot would want to just end desperate poverty? Me, I would. Okay, because I tell you what, man, I'd rather live in abject poverty, just short of death, the rest of my life, okay, if it meant defying the beast system, okay, and all the minions thereof, all these willing minions thereof, okay, these wanton and willfully stupid, evil people, okay, the minions that are working for the system. Yeah, I'm repulsed by it. I'm actually, it just, and I'm so glad that that's the human being I am. I wouldn't trade being that person for anything in the world. I love being that person. I can't be happy as long as I see this thing unfolding, man. I can't go out and make tons of money. I can't do it and just say that's the answer. That's going to float my boat somehow. I can see the end from the beginning, as we all can. If you're intellectually honest, you can see if poverty keeps increasing in the land, if the wealth and income disparity continues to grow, this imbalance that's causing the problems all over the world, and they're having these problems in London. I mean, yes, nobody wants to take the haircut, especially when it wasn't warranted, when they weren't the cause of the problems. They didn't deserve the haircut, yet they got it. So back in '08, all these people that, they bought their, oh, well, it's their fault. They relied on their loans, and they deserved to lose their house because they said they were making more money than they were, and that's the only reason we loaned them the money. And